I guess we're ready.
We better be because we're live.
And that's it, folks. See you next time.
We forgot to hit the live button and we're finished.
Yeah. 2-minute stream. Cool. Live. All three are up.
Do I hear music?
Oh. Hey, and we're wearing the right shirts this week.
Hey, yes, the blue shirts.
Blue shirt team. So we have no exciting topics this week.
Well, Mac OS is breaking things. The newest update, Catalina, breaking things. Broke some things at work, I think.
Really?
Exciting.
Oh, do you actually use your MacBook at work? You do? Okay.
Yeah. I haven't updated.
I wasn't sure if it just sits in like a backpack or something.
No.
Google Waze wants to help organize carpools, which actually sounds kind of cool.
Yep. It's they're just past their 1-year anniversary for launching that nationally, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Apple with the $400 Android killer. Nice to see Apple bringing some budget products.
Budget products.
Google Pixel 4 releasing tomorrow. Has been confirmed, I believe. We'll talk about that.
Confirmed, you believe.
Yes.
Possibly confirmed.
Intel jumping from 14 nanometers to 7 nanometers, but not for a few years.
Google Chrome took a play out of Outlook, in my opinion, and wants to save your RAM, which is, I don't know why it's a beta thing still.
Saving RAM is good. Outlook, bad.
You don't like Outlook?
I don't like Outlook.
Oh, no.
This ain't news, but Roku is to stop supporting Netflix on 11-year-old Roku boxes.
Roku's still a brand. Still producing
For now.
stuff.
We'll see who buys it once Netflix leaves them out.
Esports and Hong Kong and other keywords. Possibly the weirdest 2-screen phone yet.
Yes. Have you seen it yet?
No.
No. It's interesting.
I haven't even opened the article yet. I don't know how I worded this one. Is this a technology problem or a business and employee problem with soldering spying chips onto firewalls and other networking devices?
And possibly a few other articles, depending on our time.
And how much we get into this.
Yes. And memes of the week. Starting off with Mac OS Catalina. So they just released Catalina, which is the newest update, specifically for MacBooks. I don't know if it rolled out on phones too. I don't really know how the whole Apple ecosystem works.
Cool. Makes two of us.
But one very, very, very notable update was that they dropped support for 32-bit applications.
Really?
Yep. So if you're using an older application on your Mac or an application built by a smaller company that may not have the resources to keep it updated with 64-bit, or something that doesn't need the performance of 64-bit, or software from a company that's older and been out of business, it's no longer going to work on your Mac. And that includes some things like Adobe softwares. Some of their installers relied on 32-bit applications. The installers and uninstallers.
Oh.
So you can't even uninstall the software. Although I'm not sure. You may be able to use it, just not install and uninstall it. But one more reason not to use Adobe.
If you needed another reason.
But I think that's just pre-Creative Cloud. So if you have the Creative Cloud, which is their subscription bundle thing, it might still work. But yeah. And then, of course, Catalina also removed iTunes and replaced it with Apple Music, which we talked about before.
Hallelujah.
But
I've never liked iTunes. I might be one of the 3 people who don't like iTunes. But it's one of the hardest programs to navigate.
I've never really used it, so I can't really comment. But
okay. Yep, never liked it. So it dying it's a good thing.
But yeah, so the company I work for runs on Macs, and some of our applications probably use 32-bit. So I'm not updating until I'm told to update. But
Till you're forced.
yeah, so we'll see. One guy updated and had some problems with Skype and other things. Yeah, Skype always has problems, so that's nothing new. Waze Carpool. So here I linked 2 articles. One of them was written in 2018. I think it was October 10th. And then the second article was written on October 10th of 2019. So 1 year from the
Is it
launch.
a copy paste of the same article?
Not really. So if you haven't heard of Waze Carpool, this is, well, Waze is owned by Google, and it's interesting. It's almost a competitor to Google Maps, even though it's owned by the same company, which is kind of an interesting dynamic. But Waze Carpool is, from what I understand, a separate app that was first launched in San Francisco Bay Area 2016. Then it was expanded to a few states and Israel, which is Waze's country of origin before it was bought by Google. And the goal is to encourage people to carpool to work. So there's some restrictions that make it different from Uber or Lyft.
Yeah.
So each rider and each driver can only go on 2 trips each day. So like to work and from work. So you can't just
carpool your whole life.
Yeah, and it's not made to make money off of. If that makes sense.
Can
it's
you
not
make
made
money
for a
on
business.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yep.
There's
So
money symbols.
yes. Payment is handled in app, and riders are charged a maximum of 54 cents per mile, which was at the time the IRS reimbursement rate for business travel by car. So if you write it off on your taxes,
yeah,
that's where Waze got that 54 cents per mile. But yeah, it's not a money-making service. And then in the 2019 article, Waze had released stats after their first nationwide year, because 2018 they went nationwide for the first time, and then a few days ago was their 1-year anniversary. Waze says that carpool customers completed more than 550,000 rides globally in September, and it's currently available in the US, Mexico, Brazil, and Israel, and they predict 1 million rides per month by early 2020. So there's definitely a lot of people using it.
that's a ton of
Well,
people.
a fair bit of people using it. But there's a lot of people in the world.
So one thing I'm curious about on the picture
Yep.
is I wonder if you can negotiate pricing.
You may be able to. It does say that you can choose, like riders and drivers can choose each other. And
Yeah.
it suggests, like there's options to choose the same gender or to choose people that you work with.
Or speak different, same language.
Or, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if there's an option for
Yeah.
that, but on one of the pictures I did see a gender and choose people that you work with. And the app suggests people, like it lists the people, and up at the top of the list is people who have a similar commute to you.
Okay.
So if you're commuting from the same area of town to the same area
area.
of town.
That's one way
Whereas something like Lyft or Uber is just
you just hail
You
one.
search for- yeah,
one comes to
mhm.
you. So this is one case where big data would be super helpful.
yes.
Because like Google Maps tracks every time you go somewhere, and they can build this timeline,
Profile type thing, yeah.
Like, oh, Jacob drives from this location every Thursday night. So does this person.
Yep.
Y'all should carpool, and you can split the gas bill for your Prius.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a cool idea.
And then the article also listed stats. It said in 1970s, around 20% of Americans shared rides, down to 7% now. So a lot less people now are sharing rides.
Yeah. The one thing I think would make this carpooling really good, instead of it being like a to work from work kind of thing, because that's
Yeah.
more of like a daily drive thing, would be for almost vacationing. So it'd be like, hey, I'm going from here to the mountains 3 hours away to this general location. Anyone else?
Yeah.
But then the problem is you might be stuck in the mountains. All right, time to go home. Anyone going the
That
other way?
Yeah. And going to work, like over time, sure, one trip might save more gas if you're going on vacation, but every single day, in the
Yeah.
long run, you're going to save
That's true.
that money on the commute. And now Waze is even targeting employers. So companies invest in Waze, and Waze gives limited rides free to their employees.
Oh.
So I think going with the business route is a good idea. for Waze.
Yeah.
It can be a more consistent source of kind of income. And a way to just promote the app in general. Because I'd never heard of it until I saw this article.
Yeah. So one thing Waze did for a long time was it would estimate your speed limit and show you on the map while you're driving, like, oh, you're roughly going 125 miles an hour or something. And then it eventually brought over to Google Maps for me, like
Yes.
3 or 4 months ago. You think they're going to do the same thing with this? And it's going to go from a Waze app feature to a Google feature.
You mean specifically the carpooling
Yeah.
aspect? It could, but it might be better for them to keep it as a separate, like its own
app
service.
separate
Yeah.
service.
I don't know.
Because one cool thing would be on Google Maps, like, you and 4 other people drove the same route this time. And then you'd be like, hey, do you want to ride together next time? Or be like, you and this person matched routes 15 times this week.
Yeah.
With a, 2-mile difference or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be super cool.
It's possible, as long as it's opt-in, which is one thing that's cool about the having a separate carpool app, is that people who install this app are wanting to find people who have a similar commute, whereas everyone who uses Google Maps doesn't necessarily want everybody around them to know their drive and to see them pop up on their app and all that.
Yeah.
So it could be a thing, but
like, I don't think I'll ever find a carpool simply because there's only 3 cars ever going in my direction.
yeah, yeah.
But then, for several other people that I know, this would make a ton of sense, that if they were driving somewhere, it's like, you and these 4 people have been driving the same route this week.
Yeah.
It'd be a really weird dating app.
Yeah.
You and these 4 people have been following each other.
Yeah. Oh, and then Waze also mentioned another stat that said the magic number is 4 rides. So after 4 rides, people generally stick with the service. After 4 carpools.
Okay, so they try it out a couple times.
Yeah.
Either they get creeped out or
they
murdered.
stick with it. Yeah. Yeah, either they yeah, that's probably what it is. That'll be next week's article.
Apple Watch murders a man.
In an Uber carpool. Crazy times, crazy times.
Tesla automated driver.
Apple's next iPhone will cost less than your iPhone 6.
I kind of wanted to skip to another topic because it kind of felt right.
Okay. Never mind. We'll come back to this topic.
It might be that one. Where is it?
What's it about?
Oh, man, I didn't put it in because I thought it wouldn't be any good. Uber news.
Uber, yep. That seems to be on the theme.
Did you hear about it?
I don't believe so. Oh, yes, I did see an article about that, but I did not
look at this.
read
We're
it
going to
over.
go to news.google.com. We're going to go down to technology. We're going to find this real time. And then we're going to scroll down. Because I read it, and I was like, oh, this isn't exciting.
Is not or is?
It wasn't at first. But then with Waze,
Ah, yes. They are certainly related.
they are competing.
Come on.
Well, apparently it's not news because it's not there from an hour ago.
Let's search Uber.
No results.
Is this the one about them laying off a lot of people?
No, this is the one in
Oh.
a recent event where they said that they have 0 drivers. Uber does not make money, the majority of their money from their drivers. Uber has 0 drivers. Here we go. It's on Washington Post.
Okay,
For
gotcha.
Take that what it's worth. Uber, the ride-hailing app that says it has 0 drivers. But in a recent event, Uber raised eyebrows last month when the chief lawyer asserted that drivers' work is outside the usual course of Uber's business. So Uber is not in the people driving other people places business.
Okay. So they're trying to, it looks like, get around actually being the employer of all these people,
and
for tax and legal reasons.
Yeah, and the other part was responsibility and actions of its drivers.
Yep. So if a driver does something wrong, they're not actually a employee of Uber.
Because I guess he's a driver in a casual conversation with their rider and then say something very offensive.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. They are not contract. They're gig workers.
Okay.
But then that makes you think that Waze is doing it the right way, instead of them banking a ton and be like, "This is like no. Y'all are sorting amongst yourselves. We're just supplying the platform.
We're just telling you like who's out there.
Yeah.
Who does a similar drive.
Well, Uber.
We're just kind of a service rather than.
Yeah, Uber's trying to make like this walled garden-esque feel. That's really all there was in this article.
Okay.
That's why I didn't put it in there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I like the way Waze is doing this way more than Uber's handling.
Well, it's a totally different thing too. Like the carpool thing is for commuting.
Yeah.
Not to make money, just to save gas money and
Save the environment.
that kind of that kind
Traffic.
of thing. Not necessarily to make money, which I would argue that Uber and Lyft are. I mean, I'm sure Waze will make money, but
do you think people are going to use Uber less because of Waze? Because instead of now calling it Uber, you now have these 4 friends that you ride with all the time.
it's possible.
I would almost trust a Waze friend to drive drive drunk me somewhere than a Uber friend.
Yeah, but there is some convenience to just being able to go on the app and say, "Hey, pick me up," rather than, "Hey, will you be available at this time?" And
okay, that's a fair point.
So that would be more of a personal thing that you could work out with someone.
Yeah.
Whereas Waze really wouldn't help you with
that
aspect of it, I don't think.
Waze sends you a notification.
Yeah.
You
Your
and
friend
one
is
other
drunk.
person at this bar came from the same location.
Your friend is drunk. Drive them home.
Oh, man. Okay, we can go to that
All right,
next topic.
back to Apple.
Back to Apple.
As I said, Apple's next iPhone will cost less than your iPhone 6. Yay, woohoo.
Will it cost less than your current phone?
No. No.
So it actually costs less than my current phone in the current condition. If I replace the screen, my phone will be worth more.
How much does it cost to replace that screen? It is a curved screen. It looks expensive.
Yeah. Amazon replacement screens, I think, are in the 180s.
The screen itself, no install.
Yeah, just the screen.
Wow.
Stupid. Whoa.
I just saw this in this article. If you decide you're in the market for an iPhone right this minute, Apple has a model available right now for $330. But there's a pretty big catch. You've got to want to trade in your old iPhone, and it's got to be an iPhone 6s or newer in fairly good condition.
I got an iPhone 4S in the closet.
If you have no iPhone for trade, the iPhone 8 starts at approximately $450 USD, which is
that's not bad at all.
Pretty good for an Apple phone. And back in the year 2014, pricing for the iPhone 6 started at $649 US. And this article is from slashgear.com.
So how cheap would a new iPhone have to be for you to buy it? Because I've been tooting my next phone's only going to be $300 horn pretty hard recently.
Yeah, it'd have to be like $200 or $300, but I don't know if I would want to switch to iPhone anyway. You know?
Yeah, I think if
I'd
there was
go with an Android alternative.
I think if iPhones came down to $300 and they were just as good as a $300 Android, I'd switch.
Okay.
Just because of the headache-less design. I don't have to reinstall my theme just to make my camera work.
Everything, though. Everything.
So what's confusing about Apple? It is the most dumbed down, easy to use. It's like hopping a Tesla and say, drive me to work. Getting that Waze.
Have you ever used an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone 4 in my closet.
Oh, okay. Then maybe so. But for me, switching from Windows to Mac, it really didn't take that long. It took like a week for me to get used to it.
So Mac is way different than iOS.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's unholy how separated those two are.
Okay.
For them being the same operating system and being so well integrated.
That's a valid point then. Because I haven't really worked with an iPhone.
Yeah.
But switching over to Mac was...
Yeah. Like the one thing I don't like about Androids is their folder structuring. It's like if you go into your Android operating system and the folders are just it's like Windows. It's just almost arbitrary.
Yeah.
But then Apple, it's just like programs folder,
Mhm.
pictures folder. It's all dumbed down to a point of unbelievability.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, I think if they could drop it another $100, give me a 25% discount.
And depending on the camera, which is probably pretty good because iPhone cameras are normally pretty decent. Although these cameras look tiny.
So I actually never really took a ton of photos until this current
Okay.
venture. So I really never could care about cameras.
Mhm.
Like, if it could take a picture of a car license plate, or
Yeah.
take a picture of the food that I'm eating to send to someone, like, I can't talk eating. I really don't care about the camera quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that.
It's cool they're going for at least a little cheaper option, if not cheap, but more budget friendly.
So I think they're way cheaper. I'm about to pull up whatever the iPhone 11 Pro Max Turbo.
Yes. Probably costs like $1,200.
I'm thinking it's 1,200. Let me go over here. Let's see if their website works. iPhone 11 Pro.
So this is the iPhone 8 that they're selling for. Maybe? Oh, the price I listed was from the iPhone 8.
Yeah. Yeah, so their iPhone 8 you said was $450 with trade-in?
Yes.
Yeah, and their iPhone 11 Pro Max with the 512 gigs is $1,500 plus tax.
That's
That is
insane.
ridiculous. I couldn't imagine
No. No.
dropping a car's worth amount of cash
No.
for a phone.
On another note, Google's Pixel 4 is almost here. These are the rumors we've confirmed so far from cnet.com. So these are, let's see, let me see if it's been confirmed.
Happening October 15th.
Yes,
It's tomorrow.
that is tomorrow. Yep. Let me see. I think I saw the price somewhere. So the pricing still hasn't been released. Sure, it'll get released tomorrow, but people are expecting it to be $799 for the base model,
Okay.
$899 for the extra large screen, and maybe another $100 for the extended hard drive space or whatever you call it.
Yeah, storage space.
Storage space.
Wow.
So it's
That's
much more expensive than the 3A, but probably, I think it might actually be the same price as the
3.
3. Yep. So the 3 was the top of the line model. The 3A was the one that we both kind of liked.
Yeah. I think if my phone had gotten destroyed in some freak accident
Yeah.
of hard drives falling onto it,
Yeah.
I would have gotten a 3A. I wonder if they're going to have a 4A coming out.
It's a good question.
4A? Nope, no results for 4A.
So it's going to have face unlock and some kind of motion sensors. Don't know what those motion sensors are exactly, but
I wonder if that's where you
Gonna
need a
have 'em.
blink for the like face unlock.
maybe. Or some kind of
Or just a gyroscope.
gestures or, yeah, I don't know.
Huh. You in the market for a new phone? Like a Google 4?
Not really. I mean, mine's only got a cracked screen and busted volume buttons and
Well, you don't use a screen volume for phones.
no.
They're meme generating devices.
Yes. There's even a rumor it may be able to call for help in a crash.
Really?
Sounds similar to the Apple Watch stories we talked about.
Huh. That's the only assumption that your phone doesn't get destroyed.
You know, details.
Yeah. Because I can see an Apple Watch surviving a crash much better than a cell phone surviving a crash.
Yeah, because it's smaller and less to get smashed.
and it's like it will follow with your body, and the wrist isn't something that would get hit as much. It would be something that breaks first, your wrist, not the watch.
Are Apple Watches connected to a network, or are they connected to a phone?
Phone.
Connect to a network.
I believe they're phones.
So what happens if the Apple Watch does not get broken, but the iPhone does?
Let's see. Apple Watch SIM card.
Because that would be 2 points
There's
of
an
failure.
LTE-enabled Apple Watch,
Okay, that sounds expensive.
which would be connected to a network versus Apple Watch
Like a Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Yeah, and there's Apple Watch Bluetooth range not working.
Okay.
And so yeah, I think you can get either.
So it depends on your option. But yeah, it'll be
90% of people would do the Bluetooth. I think there would be a big price difference.
yeah, and you may have to get another plan too for
Yeah.
your watch, and
Verizon will charge you an extra $75 to wear a watch every month.
monthly subscription for a watch. Whew. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see once that comes out.
Intel is going straight to 7 nanometers. It is jumping from 14 to 7.
That means that computers can be more powerful with smaller computer pieces.
It also means they're cheaper because they're smaller to produce.
That's in layman's terms. Small parts, more powerful.
It hurts. Smaller is never more powerful. It just means less travel.
Less
for
energy
power.
too. Possibly.
It
right?
could possibly, yeah.
Nice.
But they're just giving up on 10 nanometers. They've been having a lot of problems with it, from my understanding. And they're just, screw it. We can't get 10 to work. Let's just go to 7. I don't know how they're going to get 7 to work.
Yeah.
But the best part is they say to fill the gap until Intel hits the 7 nanometer ground running with Meteor Lake in 2022, 3 years after AMD has hit volume release of its own 7 nanometer processors. So AMD's already pumping them out, I believe. They even rumor by then we might have already had a year of 5 nanometer AMD Ryzen chips.
Wow.
Based on Zen 4 microarchitecture, which means Intel will still potentially have some catching up to do.
Yes, no kidding.
So I've always tooted the Intel horn for their reliability, and it looks like they might actually be behind for a hot second. One argument is that Intel has the wallet. They can just cut their price and they be competitive again.
Yeah.
That's a short-term solution.
Yeah.
I think they can do that for the year. I think they can get through 2020 easily by just doing that. But if they're talking 2 years
It's a lot of money.
to produce a new processor that's better, I don't know if my
Will
next
they
one
survive?
will be Intel. Oh, they'll survive. There's
You sure?
yeah. Unless AMD just has something crazy.
Ooh,
up
were
their
there
sleeve.
some Macs going to move to AMD processor? I feel like I saw an article about that.
I feel like a lot of things use AMD. I believe the consoles do too.
Maybe that was what it was. I feel like someone moved to AMD though. Because Macs generally use Intel, right?
Yeah. They usually use the i3, i5, i7 SKUs,
Okay.
the Core series.
Yeah, I can't see anything about AMD and Mac.
But I built my computer back in 2012. I'm hoping when the new AMD architecture comes out to possibly upgrade. That would be in 2.5 to 3 years.
Okay.
I think I can make it. Right now it works fine, but every once in a while the BIOS takes a second boot loop. So, but I mean that's been happening for like a year. So it's slowly dying, but it still pumps out and it works every time. It just doesn't crank first time around, every once in a while. But I think 3 years is a reasonable time for the amount of the little amount I use it now. So if Intel can't get their stuff together by the next Ryzen architecture,
You'll have AMD for the next 10 years.
I'll have AMD for the next, on the assumption it doesn't fry an egg.
Yeah.
I lucked out with the Intel processor, buying that 2500K.
Wow.
The only thing I wish is that I had an extra $100 when I was 17 to buy the 2600K and go with the i7. It doesn't make any sense to upgrade now,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a better processor in every regard. But it's still really good for what it is.
You could upgrade sooner if we get some sponsors.
Sponsor.
That brings us to our sponsor section. This video is sponsored by Jmart Media and
Nephew Tech. Look how fast that sponsor spot was. You can make it longer by contacting him.
or him. Ooh, where are we at now? Google Chrome taking a feature from Outlook. So I use Outlook email at work, and I guess mainly I'm just used to Gmail.
Yep.
So that's why I like Gmail. One thing I still have a problem with on Outlook, and I need to get it fixed, is if I get a Skype invite, and yes, I know Skype and Outlook, man, tell me about it. If I get a Skype invite on Outlook and I accept the invite gets automatically moved to the trash folder. And then I can no longer join the meeting. Well, I shouldn't say I can no longer join the meeting, but I have to go into the trash folder and click the join meeting button.
What?
Yeah, as soon as I accept an invite, the email that the invite
Was holding? Yeah.
was sent with gets moved to the trash folder.
So where does the invite go?
Into the trash folder. It's in the email. It's like a
Yeah.
link in the email. So I can still access it, but I just have to move it out of the trash folder.
Again.
Just why are you deleting yourself? I'm sure there's a way to fix it. It's weird.
Never
It's the
even
weirdest
heard of
thing.
something happening like that.
Yeah, me neither. The first time it happened, I was lost. It's like, I know I received an email about a Skype meeting, and I'm pretty sure I accepted it. Now, where is it? Because I need the conference code to join.
Yeah. I actually use only Gmails at this point. I still have a couple other ones, but it's like 7 Gmail accounts.
But this is a good thing.
This is a really cool thing.
So, many people know that Chrome takes up a lot of RAM.
It's almost a meme.
Yes,
Of
it
the week.
really is. Oh, is it? Nice. But Google is testing a new memory reducing feature that I guess will allow you to freeze the tabs that aren't currently active. So generally, Chrome will continue running the tabs that aren't active in case there's any updates or notifications or anything like that.
Yeah.
And as far as I know,
So
there's
they're
no way
doing
to
this-
stop it.
They're doing this so super simple. Like, the implementation is mind-blowingly simple, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, there's a thing called flags in Chrome where you can change, like, little things on how Chrome works. Like, you can turn on and off spell checker or, like, little things like that.
Okay.
And one of these is now, just called freeze, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And you get 5 options. You get default, which I guess right now is disabled by default. It's because it's still in beta.
Okay.
2 is enabled. 3 is enabled freeze, no unfreeze.
Okay.
And then 4 is enabled freeze, unfreeze 10 seconds every 15 minutes. And then 5 is disabled.
Okay.
I don't think they talk about what each one of those means.
Yeah.
But the reason I compared this to Outlook is because you can change how often it checks your email server for new emails. Like, check every 10 seconds, check every 30, check every minute, check every 10 minutes. And this is what this sounds like. So the idea is that if you have 20 tabs open, any tab left open for more than 5 minutes gets set to one of these 5 states.
Gotcha.
So you can say, no, always update it as soon as possible. So at the second you get a notification from Discord or a server or something, it will ding you. But then if you can enable it and then say, after 5 minutes, goes into a freeze state. But then
it's like a sleep.
Yeah, it's like a
essentially.
sleep. Yeah. So then you can say, every 10 minutes, check in. And that's what you would do for like emails or something. Every 10 minutes, unfreeze for 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
check for emails, and then freeze another 10 minutes.
That's interesting.
But then like some like forms or something that I check once a day.
Yeah.
Like freeze for 3 hours, check 10 seconds, freeze for another 3 hours.
So it just checks for new updates. One interesting thing would be, depending on how the website is designed,
if
it could disconnect you. Like if you're not active for a certain amount of time, it could like end your connection or something.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it would depend on how it's designed, but that'd be an interesting thing to
look into.
see. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Is there an option to just right-click on tabs and freeze?
So I think you have to go into your flags first, enable it, and then maybe?
Okay.
I'm not about to close everything I have open.
Yeah, hopefully my stream didn't just die.
Have your stream dice from closing?
It looks like we're good. Yeah. It might have just been renamed. So let's see.
Is it on the list?
I don't see a freeze.
No.
We'll have to look into that, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's a really cool feature. I think it's definitely the right move.
Yes.
Can't wait for it to come out of beta and then it have an auto default. Because it's going to be after 5 minutes, it'll go into a freeze state.
Okay.
And I bet they'll do like a 10-minute freeze state.
Yeah.
And then you can go from having only 40 tabs open to hundreds of thousands of tabs. Never having to close the tab again.
That sounds like a problem.
Speaking of problems, do you own an 11-year-old TV set-top box made by Roku?
No.
Roku, the company I didn't know was so big, is in the news 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
And if my article loads, look at this beautiful white screen of the mouse. Here we come. Mashable. Netflix won't stream on some old Roku devices starting in December.
December.
Man, that's like a week away at this point.
Something like that.
But apparently Roku's been making stream boxes since 2008.
Yeah, 2008.
2008. That's how you say it. So if you have any of these boxes, let me move us down a little bit. You'll no longer be able to stream Netflix from them.
Yep, and Netflix said that the reason they're doing this is because of technical limitations. So maybe Netflix just has a change that's going to break it, or I don't know. But,
how long do you think it'll be before Netflix goes to 4K only and stops doing 720 and 1080p content?
A long time.
You don't think it'll be like 2024?
I think it'll be later than that. Because
you can buy an 8K TV right now.
How many people have an 8K TV?
0.
Yeah.
But how many people have a 4K TV? Rather, the ratio from 1080p TVs to 4K TVs.
Let's guess and then look it up.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to start typing it.
I'm going to say 15% of people
for
have
the
a 4K.
US.
I'm going to say for the US, 15% of people have
households.
15% of households have a 4K television. Or monitor if that comes up to.
I'm going to say a quarter. I'm going to say 25%.
Okay. Either way,
but
still pretty low numbers.
I wouldn't include like TV or not TVs, monitors or phones or tablets, because no 4K tablets.
It'll also be interesting to see if we can find this.
Yeah.
But maybe this will be
How many homes own a 4K TV in the USA?
So when was this article written? So here's a 2017 article.
I got one 2018 article.
That's more updated than mine.
Ultra HD TV U.S. household penetration from 2014 to 2018 from Statistic. That's a long title.
This one article's from 2017. It says 16% of U.S. households now own a 4K
advanced television
ultra high definition television.
So it's at least 16%. So it's I'll miss
Yes,
some.
theoretically.
You wouldn't assume that less people would be getting them.
Yeah. But even so, let's say 25% of people own one, which from this could be pretty accurate after 2 more years.
Yeah.
Or even 30%.
A 25% adoption rate translate to 30 million.
That's a lot. But then also consider how many shows are on Netflix. A lot.
A ton.
How many of these shows on Netflix are 4K?
So this one's showing in 2017 it was 16%. In 2018 of June it was 31%.
That's pretty high. So
That's
it could even
really
be up to
high.
40%. But again, think of all the shows that are on Netflix.
That's a ton.
How many of them are 4K?
0. 4.
Very few. So
Anything.
at the current time, it would be crazy to go 4K only.
Really?
Yeah. Because most of your consumers are using 1080p or lower.
Okay, so I guess.
And most of your shows are 1080p or lower. Now, in 4 years, that may change.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to reshoot all the shows they currently have on Netflix in 4K.
Yeah.
They're just going to...
They're
The
gonna
new
phase them
shows
out.
might be in 4K.
So how?
Why would they phase them out?
Yeah.
They
No,
might as
they'll
well
phase
keep
out
them
the
on
old
there.
shows and keep. And take
No,
the
they
old
might as well keep them on there.
The server
For-
space. Netflix often takes stuff off and puts new stuff on.
Still, though, replacing 1080p content with 4K content.
So
You
like,
might as well just keep the 1080 if
You'll-
you're going to be replacing with, like,
No,
more
so-
resource-intensive.
So like when they're
shows
done with
anyway.
a show, so like they get off the
Okay.
like a garbage TV show like Friends or something.
Yeah.
And they're done with it, Friends. They take that off and then put on some good 4K television series, and then they'll slowly just take off older series and put on newer, high quality series.
Maybe. I mean, that makes sense.
I don't think it'll take but 4 years, 5 years at most. 2025.
For them to only stream,
For all content to be 4K.
no.
There's not a chance.
No. Not in my opinion.
At least 33% of Americans have 4K TVs. And
Households.
Oh yeah, households. But then again, most households that can afford a 4K TV probably also have Netflix. It'd be one of those things that if you don't own a 4K TV, you probably also don't have. Like, I think the ratio would be
Okay, makes sense.
more equivalent. Because a household that has a 80-year-old person with a tube TV still probably doesn't have Netflix either. They might.
And why would they drop support for a lower resolution anyway? All it does is takes up more of their bandwidth. You know?
That's a fair point. That's the first fair point I've taken.
No.
from you.
No. No.
The other ones are
No.
dismissible.
No. But yeah, I mean, why would you drop that support for 720 or 1080? Because
The
if
same
someone only has a
reason-
1080p screen, why would you send them 4K content?
The same reason that
You might as well send them 1080p content
you would
if that's
drop
all they're going to see anyway.
144p support.
No, they're not going to do that anytime soon anyway.
Has YouTube gotten rid of 144p?
Oh.
144p.
That's different.
That's
144. Yeah. 144. I mean, that is a good question why they would. Maybe they're just wanting to clean up their UI.
Yeah, 1080p. Clean it up. Get rid of it.
No.
Not a chance.
Not in the next 4 years.
Netflix, if you're watching and you want to sponsor just Nephew Tech, let me know.
Don't listen to him. Listen to me. Don't go to 4K streaming only because it's just going to hurt your bandwidth. And
If you
For
don't
what?
get rid of 1080p, I will drop you. I'll have my friend drop you.
there you go. You heard it here first, folks.
I will stop using my friend's account.
And buy your own.
Yeah, definitely.
If you get your new iPhone, you can get Apple Play or whatever it is. Apple TV Plus
Yeah. It's Google Play.
for a year.
Android Play. No. What's it called? The Play
Whatever
Store?
Apple's streaming
Yeah.
service is. Not the Play Store, but their video service, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you buy a new
It's like
iPhone,
Apple TV
you get 12 months free.
Plus.
Yeah.
And they spell out the word plus.
No, it's just a plus sign. Apple
Oh,
TV Plus.
dang it, you're right.
All right. Next topic. Ooh, Hong Kong.
Thank God, finally a non-controversial
Oh, no.
topic. Something we can
This
both
is
agree on.
terrible. Oh. So, I haven't really followed the Hong Kong stuff that much.
So I try. It's really hard.
So, there's this game called Hearthstone, which I've never seen, never played, but it's a game that's somewhat popular in the esports
Which
realm.
is weird because this background is clearly World of Warcraft.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it says massive World of Warcraft. Huh.
Yeah, like
You
these
know how
huge
articles like this
4
are.
foot by 32-foot banner.
So there was a Hearthstone player who was suspended from competing in a tournament after he said something in support of Hong Kong protesters. And he has released a statement.
Yep. So originally, Blitzchung was on a interview panel.
So Blitzchung is the player's name.
Yep.
For those of
his
you like me,
name.
his gamer tag, you can
Yeah.
say. For those of you who are uneducated in this,
Yeah.
like myself.
I'm not very educated. I have no idea how this game works.
Oh,
But,
you had selected it. Nice. Okay.
yeah. But so he was in an interview panel, like a sports panel, where the
So after the
athletes-
match,
yep, and
it was
he
an
supposed
interview.
to like talk about what he was thinking or whatnot, or
Mm-hmm.
how he thought everything went, and I believe he wore a mask. He put a mask on during the interview,
Okay.
which currently in Hong Kong they're wearing masks to separate the people that are protesting versus the people who are just trying to.
And probably also to disguise themselves from the government cameras, which are everywhere.
Yes. And the air quality is poor over there too. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
It's
you should
rough.
wear- yeah, it's pretty terrible. But yeah, as far as I understood, he wore a mask. I haven't cared enough to watch the
Okay.
video.
Yeah.
But and then he said words of support for Hong Kong or against China.
Mm-hmm.
And Blizzard is owned by Activision, which Tencent is a conglomeracy in China that owns a huge portion of Activision Blizzard.
Okay.
And so they got word, China said, hey, you need to do this to Activision. Activision said to Blizzard. Blizzard had to do something to Blitzchung for saying these things against the big man. So that's
The Chinese,
kind of how
yeah.
this works to my understanding.
And it says that the two people who were interviewing him were fired by Blizzard
Yes.
as well.
So they kind of played devil's advocate. We're part of this, but not really. They wanted him to show support for Hong Kong, but they wanted
Blizzard did, or
the interviewers.
Okay.
From my understanding, they asked him questions to lead him into the trap.
Okay, so they were kind of leading him, yeah.
But then as soon as he started, they tried to backtrack it a little, but not hard enough, and so they hit him to the desk or something like that.
Yeah, this
Like-
says that the two broadcasters who interviewed him hid under their desks.
Hide their face. That's my best guess.
If you're on the screen before, it's not.
Yeah, it's not going to help.
What the heck?
And so they got fired for leading because they should have led the interview better, I guess. And so then Blizzard took away all of his prize money and banned him for a year
Mhm.
and the two interviewers for a year.
Okay.
And then the internet freaked out.
Yep.
For
And-
very good reasons.
Yeah, and Blizzard reversed their thing somewhat.
A little bit. They
They're-
gave him back the prize money.
Okay. Yep.
And then they
Reduce his suspension to 6 months, it says.
Yeah, for the player. And they're still working with the interviewers, I believe.
Okay. This says here on this article from Daily Wire that they did a 6-month suspension for the two interviewers rather than, I guess, firing them straight out.
Yeah. And that's pretty much my understanding of the whole.
And so a lot of people are boycotting Blizzard, right? I saw something about
Yep.
boycotting Blizzard,
So
but
it-
I didn't read the backstory. So this is the backstory then.
Yeah, so it's went on a trend on pretty much every social media site for gamers where you're posting pictures of deleting your Blizzard account.
Gotcha.
Because Blizzard owns like World of Warcraft and
Uh-huh.
Hearthstone and
Mhm.
Overwatch and all these big MMO styled games.
Yeah.
Competitive games. And people are deleting their accounts because they're all subscription based, I believe.
Does Activision do Call of Duty too?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think a sub of Activision does Call of Duty.
Gotcha.
I mean, they may do it specifically. But I
Maybe
believe it's under
Tencent.
the great umbrella.
Activision there. So partially, somewhat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's my understanding of it. Linus Tech Tips did his WAN show, like half of it was about this topic. And they pretty much came to the conclusion that Blitzchung was at work because that's what he's a professional Hearthstone player. So he shouldn't have been discussing politics at work. And that's pretty right. It's the wrong platform. Now, if he wanted to go onto Twitter, onto his own account and talk about it, then that should have been okay. If Twitter's okay with it.
Yeah.
Because then, yeah, Blizzard really shouldn't be able to do too much unless, like, he becomes too big in the movement. And it's like, oh, we can't have people that are this high up in a movement showing their support for something that we don't believe in. Because Blizzard...
Which is why Blizzard caught all the flack.
Yeah.
Because they don't...
Blizzard doesn't really believe in human rights, apparently.
So there's that.
So yeah, if you own a Blizzard game, which Blizzard games... Wow, they actually have a lot of them. There's some Blizzard games for you. Go ahead and just stop paying for them. I don't know. Unless you don't believe in human rights, then, keep doing you.
All right.
That's the story from my understanding.
Yeah.
In case you really cared.
Yeah.
Don't talk about politics or religion at work. That's
Ooh,
pretty
I
much
saw
the sum of it.
another article that was also talked about open source software. It said, shouldn't talk about politics or religion or open source software at work.
Or open source. What?
Open source software.
Why?
Because people have different opinions on how it should be used, like legally and stuff. I didn't read much into the article. I
Oh.
could find it.
If it's open source, then it's kind of like air. You can just breathe it if you
Well,
want.
it depends. Some things are just you can view the source code. Some of them are you can use the source code.
Yeah.
Some of them are you can use the source code for commercial use.
So it's whatever the developer says.
Yeah.
I think
But-
if someone makes something and then they say this is how you're allowed to use it, then
Apparently there was some big Twitter
that's
fight
the rules.
between two.
Because isn't there levels like a GPL?
Yeah, like just licensing,
Yeah.
like fair use and all that stuff. Twitter.
Yeah, general public license. I didn't hear about it, but yeah, I knew there was different variations of it.
It's a funny title though. Anyway, on to the next actually interesting topic. Kind of interesting topic. The possibly one of the stranger looking dual screen phones. So we've talked about the folding screen phones.
Folds on the inside.
Folding inside, folding on the outside, and then last week we talked about Microsoft's folding phone, but the screen itself doesn't actually fold.
Yeah.
It's got two separate screens.
That's honestly my favorite one.
Which
so
is good for
far.
durability. This one is really weird in that it has a screen on the front, and apparently some kind of gimmick is instead of either a pop-up selfie camera, which some cameras have had, or a notch for the camera, it's going to have, so you've got your phone, you've got your camera, you won't have a selfie camera, but you'll use this camera as a selfie camera and have a screen on the back side of the phone.
So you'll have a camera screen and a phone screen.
Yeah, on opposite sides of the phone.
Okay.
So you can't like view both sides at once.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Now, I wonder if... I would almost want one of the screens, probably the smaller one, to be a like lower light, battery saving, energy efficient type styled screen.
The smaller screen is massive too. 5.1 inches.
So the main one's probably 7 inches.
Yeah.
because it's a full body screen. That's a pretty cool idea.
It's interesting.
Would you rather have 2 screens or a battery that lasts all day? That's how I see this phone looking.
Yeah. See, the nice thing about having 2 screens is more screen space, right?
Yeah. 2 screens side by side, more screen space.
So why are they putting it
On the other side?
on the back?
I
I
mean-
can deal with.
I would be more okay with this image of this phone if this screen
Yeah.
ended like right here and it was like a little 1 inch by 1 inch square.
Yeah.
And it did like a clock or the weather or a news article or something.
But there's almost no point to having a screen on each side of your phone because you're gonna have to turn it around to do anything.
I do like how the smaller screen is for texting Eugene or whoever this is.
Okay.
And then the bigger screen just has Google Music on it.
Mm-hmm. So you can pause and play on music while you're typing out your super long text.
On the smaller screen.
You can like Google words and see how to spell
Yeah, so
cat on one screen and then type out on the other
Word,
screen.
yeah. Yeah, I would like it if it was a much smaller utility style screen.
Yeah.
Even just sort of notifications. So like when you're streaming or out at dinner or something and you put the phone face down like you do when you go out to eat or something.
Yeah.
So like, oh, this is important. If it notifies me something, it's probably an emergency.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's down because you're the main attraction, not the phone. But then if it had a little utility screen, so when it did notify you, you can see like, oh, it's, that app. And you can just swipe it off and you can go back to focusing on the stream.
Yeah.
I think that's where the second screen would be useful.
Yeah. But having 2 screens like that,
It's like,
it's going to increase the cost and...
Yeah. And screens take up a ton of room inside of the phone. So if you have 2 screens, that's a lot of room where there could have been a battery.
Yeah.
Like a phone is like 50% screen, 25% battery, and then the rest is cameras if you're an iPhone 11 user. They're 14 screens. The one thing attractive about this phone, though, is it's not a $1,500 phone.
Yep. $529.
Plus
So-
tax.
Actually, probably the cheapest 2-screen phone that we've seen, right?
By far. Like, not even
Yeah.
competitive. Yeah, I think that... Yeah, because most of them are like $1,200, $1,800.
And you won't worry about breaking the hinge.
Not yet. You'll find one.
One nice thing about having your entire phone taken up by the screen is that they won't have as much room to solder spy chips inside of it.
Spy chips. Do you own any of these spy chips?
Probably. Not that I'm aware of, but probably.
So, this article is just ridiculous. I don't have too much to say on it, but the whole Chinese thing, back when we started this whole stream thing, people were like, oh, they're putting spy chips in our routers. What's their name?
Monta Elkins?
Yeah, Monta Elkins. Proved a theory that it could be done. And so the reason I put the title in, is this a technology problem or a business and employee problem? Is that soldering a chip to a board in a warehouse before it gets shipped out is not like a subtle, not easy to spot thing.
Yeah.
That's not like spitting in someone's food or something where you can hide it.
You
from
can
the
get away with it.
This is
It takes engineering and design to...
yeah, and then a person smart enough to know how to do this, and there to be a reason to do it.
Yeah.
Like, this takes a lot more thinking than a person was rude over the drive-through intercom. So, I would argue that this isn't really a technology problem. It's where you're buying your products from problem. Which
Yeah, I would
think's magically
agree.
getting sorted out with this Hong Kong situation.
Yeah.
And that's really why I put in there, is that it fell under the news.google.com technology section. And to me, Yeah, it is a technological feat in a way. It's really cool that you could just magically solder a chip in through a lot of knowledge and learning and work. Yeah.
All right. You want to push these to next week?
Sure. We're doing a lot of time. Oh, wow, we are.
Yeah, we're doing good on time.
Wow. Who knew that you could argue so long about 4K TVs? Thanks, Netflix.
I was right. Don't worry. All right. Meme of the week. You want to show my meme first?
Yeah, because mine's a disappointment.
Okay.
We'll end it on a really sad note. Oh, well, that was mine. You switched them.
Can I show it?
Wait, are they the same?
No, I switched them.
Oh. Wow.
And copied the text from your link. All right, let's look at this thing. When it feels like summer outside, but you are ready for Halloween. A watermelon O-lantern. Man, what did I see? I saw some kind of O-lantern recently.
There's a pineapple one.
Maybe that's what it was, the pineapple O-lantern.
Yeah, the college dorm room wouldn't allow pumpkins.
Oh,
and so
wow.
they carved a pineapple.
That's hilarious. It does feel like summer outside, too. Or it did last week, anyway. It's like
Yeah.
90 degrees.
Yeah, and this week
And then it dropped to 60 in one day.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
has an effect on the allergies, too.
I thought we had the same meme for a split second. I was like, wait a second. This
No.
isn't right. I'm going to check the links because mine's always a Facebook one. Yours is always a Discord one.
Yeah. Or i.reddit or Imgur.
Why science teachers should not be getting playground duty. So this wouldn't work. There's space.
Yeah. Think.
Yeah. Newton's cradle would end about right there, I think, in the middle.
If you don't know what it is, if you don't get the meme, look up Newton's cradle.
I like how terrified the kid's face is.
This is gonna be fun.
It's for your own good, Johnny.
How does momentum work? Is that momentum, I guess? All right. And that brings us to the end of this week.
Join us next week in 8K on Netflix, original series. Sponsor us.